Hey, welcome to Q Corner. Well, I've been busy all week again, as you may have noticed. Where are we here? I can't remember which is which, but there's only one of us here again this week. It was Keith's turn to be away, so it's just me on my own son. Although hopefully we'll be catching up with Keith all the way from Lebanon at the Me Back event 2018, so hope to hear some bits and pieces on that shortly. Hi people on the chat. My eyes are failing me again, but hi also, hi Edward. On this week's show we have a cool, cute frog design, catch up with Keith as I've said, and some very special news from the fabulous Sue Bowler. Some exciting news coming out the Q Corner this week. However, before that... Welcome back. Yes. So yes, quite a few things been going on here at Q Corner and in the shop this week in Keith's absence. We had a very cool request for a frog. Now we've already used the 38 inch, I think it is, 38 inch friendly frog for designs previously, which is a great balloon, but since they brought it out in the 14 inch, it's given us a lot more possibilities. So that's pretty cool. So that's one of the designs I'm going to share with you today. I thought I'd make it in front of you so you can see it step by step, so there's no cheating, no camera trickery, so I'm going to share that with you. So I think I'm going to start off with that. I have my frog here, air filled. So this is the valve on the 40 inch. If you've not used these before, you do need to use a heat sealer for these. There are other methods that are not as successful. The heat sealer is the absolute best method to make sure that is sealed. If you want to see a little bit more about heat sealing, I would suggest we have a look at the Very Best Balloon blog, because Sue has done a fantastic piece of information about heat sealing, and I believe there's a video there as well, which is really good for different techniques that you can use for heat sealing. So I've got mine already heat sealed, so it's ready to go. So let me just put that to one side and move you out of the way as well. The frog that I'm going to be making, and hopefully you're going to be making in future, is this guy here. We can see him there on the screen. So we've got some 350Qs, 260Qs. This is actually a quick link. This is a 12-inch quick link that I've used for the body, and we've got some 5-inch for the base. So we've got some distortion going on here to give us a bit of a unique cha-ching. We've got a new subscriber. Thank you. Maybe jump a little bit once again. I really must turn the volume down on that. So I'm going to run through how we made this in the shop this week, because we thought it was pretty cool and we want to share it. So I'm going to start off with the body, and that is going to be using the quick link. So what I'm going to do is we'll move our froggy out of the way, and I'm going to bring in a quick link. So this is the quick link we need. I've also got, if I can do this, bring this in, ding ding, so we can see from above. Eye from the sky. So this is a 12-inch lime green quick link. We could just inflate it and would give us a cool, nice round body, which is cool. That's nice, but we want to give it a bit more definition and a bit more of a unique shape as well. So to do that, we're going to distort it using a 350Q on the inside and also a 11-inch as well. Now it doesn't really matter too much what the colours are on the inside. There can be a different colour because we're not really going to see them. However, we wouldn't suggest using a darker colour because it would probably show through the latex. You might see some colour differences there. but you can use a lighter colour. So in a pinch we've used things like, you know, white or a different colour, because that shouldn't show through the lime green latex on the outside. But as we have the coordinate latex, we tend to, where possible, use the right colours. So for this one, I am going to take my 350Q and I'm just going to fold it over just a little bit. Can we see that on the screen? I don't want to fold it all in, I just want to put a little bit of that balloon into the neck of the quick link. So I'm just going to slide that in there. Now if I was prepared properly, I would have got myself a balloon straw or a chopstick just to make that easier to go inside this balloon. However, let me use my pen just to save me struggling. In you go. Hiya Pioneer Balloon Canada as well. Good afternoon, yes, good evening from us. Good afternoon for you. So what I want to do now is try and inflate that 350Q inside of this 12-inch quick link. Now if I do that now, it's going to get stuck more than likely as I try to inflate it, because there's not a lot of room in this quick link for that to inflate. So before we inflate that 350Q, we're just going to add some air into that outside quick link. So inflate the quick link. You just need to create a bit of space to allow the 350Q to inflate inside this balloon. Okay, whilst holding and keeping the air in, so it's a bit of a finger exercise this one. Just switch the pressure over onto the 350Q on the inside. I'm going to inflate that now on the inside. When I did the first one, I had a bit of trial and error to get the shape that I was looking for, but it worked out about 10 strokes. The hand pump gave me a nice circle that distorted this quick link to the shape that I was looking for. So let me count one. Let's see if we get some air through there without trapping the neck. There we go. So that's 10. Squeeze that round, just checking that shape to make sure it's the shape that I want. A little bit of air out just to soften it all off. And what we need to do now, don't worry about the air in this quick link, because we can put some more air back in there. What we need to concentrate on is the two necks, or the neck, sorry, of the 350Q and the end of the 350Q, because we need to pull those together to create a loop. So if I can just pull that together, I'm going to let the air out of that quick link so you can see what it is that I'm doing. Just squeeze that around to make a rounder shape. You can see that 350Q now is making kind of a cool shape there, but it's nice and flat also. So once I'm happy with that, let me tie the two of those together once and twice. So that's locked the 350Q as a loop. So that's got that locked together. So I'm just going to tuck the excess into there. We can cut it off, but once again I need a pair of scissors handy, which I don't, so I'm just going to throw that on the inside. Out the way, we don't need it. When you are trimming the necks off though, be careful, don't trim them too tight, too close to that knot, because if you do, it's possible that the knot can come undone, and if it does, then you've kind of ruined the work that you just spent your time doing. Now, I need to reinflate this quick link because I need to move the position of this ring. This ring at the moment is going round from the top of the neck to the tying point on the bottom of the quick link. We need to rotate it, so we need to kind of change its angle to make it go flat across for the bottom of the frog. So to do that, we're going to add some more air in. Something on the jar. Still can't read it. I should have zoomed that in. Right, rotate that round, squeeze it that way. So now the neck's still at the top, we've got our tying point that's at the bottom, but now this ring is going around the outside. So that gives us the shape at the bottom of this belly that I was looking for. Now to hold the structure at the top, it's not quite the shape again that I was looking for, so I'm going to add something else inside to give me the shape that I want, to kind of pull that body up a bit. So to do that, I'm going to let the air out because I'm going to add in a 11-inch balloon. So this is just an 11-inch lime green. Roll that up and slide it in the neck. So we want to do the same thing with this one. Again, we need to add some air into that quick link just to create a bit of space. So in it goes. Let's add some air into the quick link so we've got some space to work in, and then inflate our 11-inch balloon. So you can see it's stretching that balloon up, so it's creating a unique shape. But because we've used the quick link, we have the very handy dandy tying point at the bottom of the balloon, and then we've also got the tying point with the neck at the top as well, so we've got the connection points that we needed. Now we could have done this with 11" and added a raisin twist in. No need, because we've got the 12" quick links, that's perfect. If we want to do this on a bigger scale, we could, and we could use the 16" lime green, but then we'd add in the raisin twist on there. So it's a very usable technique. If we want, we can give it some more definition. We've got some air puffed up on the outside here, so if you want, you can actually squeeze the air out, hold the neck of the inside one, and you can actually separate the layers of the two balloons, and you can squeeze out some air just to give you some more definition of the shape. So it really is a versatile technique, and that's why it's called distortion, because we are distorting the shape of that balloon. So once I'm happy, I can tie off that inside balloon. I'm tying it separate to the outside, so then that still gives me the flexibility of changing the shape of the balloon. So I'm going to take away a little bit more air if I can. So I'm just going to open that neck, and I'm just separating the skins of the two balloons to allow the air to squeeze out. So you'll see now, that next one, lose it. We've got a much better definition there as well on the balloon. So now we have a tying point at the top and we have a tying point at the bottom, but this very cool shape of our froggy. Okay, so that's ready to go. Tie that off now because I'm happy. We're going to add the base in. For this one I'm going to be using the 5" spring green, a lovely addition to the latex colour lineup. I really wasn't sure about the spring green at first, because I thought, where was it going to be used? Because you have some cool greens already with the lime green, the winter green, the dark green. However, it has fitted in lovely into the lineup, and we've used it quite a bit in our work. I'm just doing this with the hand pump for inflation. I'm using the stroke count, as we often do with the hand pumps. Qualitex 2-way hand pump. Balloon on, pull down because I want to give it the nice round shape, and it's just 1, 2, 3. But I'm also just giving it a little squeeze just to make it nice and round, so it's a nicer looking balloon shape on the base for this frog. So I've got 1, 2, 3, a little squeeze, take the 2, stretch, wrap them round, tie them together. So we have our 2 sets of 2. We're going to push them together. Away they go. That's going to create our base. We're going to put the connection point into the middle from that bottom of the quick link. So we're going to just take that and we're going to stretch it through. Move my hand pump out the way, it's going to get me. Wrap that round and then secure it onto one of the necks of the 5" spring green. So that's going to give us the base that we need. Okay, now once that's done, kind of a cool looking turtle going on there as well. Design for next week. On the base here as well, we'd also add in a little weight, perhaps a water weight or a sand weight. Our preferred weight is the sand weight because we can colour coordinate, and we can also shape it so it fits in nice and neatly into the base of the design. So it's very discreet, again in a colour coordinated 5" spring green on there. For the head, to add that on, I'm simply going to take the neck of the air-filled and the neck of the the quick link, and tie those together. So wrapping it round, being careful you don't want to put too much pressure as you're tying it round on the air-filled neck. You can, if you wish, tie on a 260Q and roll neck up for a elasticated connection. However, for this sort of size design, tying directly onto the quick link is perfectly fine. It works very well and it's nice and simple. It just takes out one step. We do need to add something in here though to give it some stability, hide the mechanics, and give us something to kind of bring the arms out of. I tried a couple of different things to see how it would work scale wise, but the one that I preferred at the end of it was a 260Q lime green, just with 4 loops. So we could have done something like a split duplet, but it just the kind of size and shape and the pressure around that air-filled, I preferred the 260Q. So I'm going to inflate the 260Q. It's about 4 strokes, just gives me more than enough balloon to work with. Before I tie it, a little burp on the end just to soften that balloon off, and I just twist that balloon and tie it. It just gives a cleaner finish to that 260Q, so we end up with all the loops looking pretty much the same. Quite often we see people struggle with flowers and loops where the first one is often very different, and that's normally from the way it's tied. It's tied too close to the end of the nozzle, and then you end up with that very narrow tapered part of the 260Q. Harder to tie, harder to work with. So this way we give ourselves more neck, so it's easy to work with and it's softer and a better shape. So just have a look at that the next time you inflate a 260Q if you're having any troubles with that. So I'm just going to use my finger and thumb and hold on to that knot very close to the end of the inflated part of that balloon. I'm just going to fold it over to make a very small, just a small, thank you very much, very small loop. I'm just going to squeeze that balloon and twist that round. Once it's twisted, just tuck in the loop just to hold that in place. Okay, second one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it over, try and get my loops the same size, and then just twist that around. Try and show on both cameras there. So we'll have two loops, pretty much the same size. Don't have to be perfect, but just go over somewhere pretty close. Again, just going to fold that balloon over, trying to match them up again. When I'll have, you can squeeze that balloon into the neck there. I'm not twisting the loop, I'm just taking this excess balloon and pulling it round and over to lock it in position. That way we're not adjusting the loop size by twisting that, we're just pushing the air down the 260Q as we add those extra twists in. So again, the same thing for my fourth one, just fold it over, squeeze it, and we wrap it around. End up with a much more even inflation and pressure in those loops. So now we have our 4 loops, and this is like a 4 balloon cluster, but we've got more control of the size with using a 260Q. So now we're just going to remove the excess balloon here, so I'm just going to tear off the last bit. If you struggle with that, just chuck at the very end with some scissors, release the air out carefully, you don't want to undo the work we've done, wrap it around and just tuck the neck in just to hide that excess. So that gives us that 4 loops like a 4 balloon cluster, and they are just going to be added in to the neck on the frog, and they're just going to be pulled through into position. You just cross those loops over as you would with any other 4 balloon cluster, and that just gives us, see which is going to be the front. I like that shape, so he's looking at me now. So there he is, our froggy with his neck there, and ready for some arms and some legs. Okay, so we've got some 350Qs now to add in the loops for his legs. So let me pop them to one side. Again, use my trusty hand pump. Because I need to create a bit of a tying point at the bottom to make it easy to tie into the base, I'm going to pull this hand pump. I'm going to take the neck of the 350Q and put it on quite a bit of that latex before I inflate it. Then inflate enough balloon for the loop that I'm going to be happy with. So that's more than enough there, so I'm happy. Let a little bit of air out. Tie that balloon off. Once it's tied, you can see here, I'll show on the other camera, we've got a very long neck. That makes it easier now to tie into the base. If it was short, we'd have to add on an extra piece of balloon to pull into there. So you can do that afterwards if you miss it, but it's easy to do it in one go. I'm just going to measure up the size of leg that I'm happy with. I'm just going to squeeze that and create a loop with that balloon. Tie it around. More than happy with that. I'm going to again take away the excess balloon and tie that off. Now before we bring that into the design, I want to make another balloon the same size, or as close as I can. So, with my balloon stash over here out the way, I've got another 350Q, do the same thing, pull that balloon on and inflate. Not forgetting to soften that balloon off and tie. Hit myself in the head in the process. And then create the loop using your first one as a template. So bring that round, checking the size, create my second loop and tuck it through. There we go. And tie it off. There we go. Again, remove any of the excess balloon. Just make sure that is secured. Then we're going to use this loose latex here from the neck to tie it into the base. Now it can be a little bit fiddly sometimes trying to get into here, so quite often an easier way to do that is to take the 2 balloons that we have and tie them together. But we tie them together with a very loose connection. Let me just take away the excess, tie the two, and then I show you. So we have a loose connection between the two. So you see on the other camera there. So it's connected strong. It's got a really good connection between it, but it's loose. That means we can pull it through the design, and it's got that elasticity. So if you just take it through the front of the frog, so it pulls through, and then when we get it through, we just turn the design around and bring those two loops, and we cross them over, just so they're locked in position, so they can't just come out by accident. But there's enough pressure there that they actually sit at the side really well. So it means we can actually move and manipulate their shape and where they're going to sit, and with a little bit of playing around with them, we can get them to sit in a very cool position. After this, you can also add in things like balloon bond or glue dots, which is a good way of fixing things into a better position so it looks how you want it, but we've got that physical connection of that ends of the 350Qs to make sure that they are going to stay connected to the design. Don't mind sometimes if it's not, you know, exactly in the right position, if the glue dot moves or lets it come off, that's fine, but we don't want the legs falling off. So that's our two big legs for our frogs. For the little arms for coming out of the neck here, let me just move my frog out the way on screen. You sit there, frog. I'm going to use a 260Q. Just let a little bit of air out again to soften the balloon off, tie that off. And what we're going to do on the end of this, let me put it on the camera so you can see better, we're going to add 3 pinch twists at the end of this 260Q. So just a squeeze and twist, creates a bubble. We're going to join the two ends of the bubble together, so that's going to create my first pinch twist. There's number 1, squeeze again, for number 2. And squeeze the third time for the third bubble, pull that in, and that gives us 3 pinch twists on the end. Just wrap the neck around just to hide it, pull in position. So that gives us just a very simple little hand on the frog there. I'm going to set the length of the arm that I'm happy with, so just a squeeze, roll that balloon. And what we need to do again is we need to tie it here, so we're going to remove the extra balloon. Tie that balloon off. Done. So we end up with an arm and a tying point here. I'm going to do a second one and we'll tie them together just like the legs, so we've got that really good connection between the two. So just the same process. Tie. Move that one out of the way. And we do the squeeze for the bubble. Bring the two ends together. That's 1. 2 and 3. Just bringing in the second arm there, so we can measure to get them both about the same distance. Again, we're not looking for absolute perfection, we're just looking for somewhere close. They're on each side of his body, so it's not going to be as easy to tell. So if you can tell that they're pretty close next to each other, when they're separated on the body, you're not really going to notice. I'm going to add a little bit of shape in, so just fold and just roll that balloon. Just gives a bit more curve, a bit more shape to that arm, just so it's not sticking out like a scarecrow. Take the two ends and we tie them together. There we go. Got the two tied together, they're ready to go. Same thing now on the neck. We're just going to pull that round, and you go all the way to the other side. Very important this, just cross them over because we don't want them coming out by mistake. And you go, straighten up the head, there you go Mr. Froggy. And there he is. Our cool, cute, friendly froggy design. There he is. So that was our frog, but we did a little bit of addition to this. Where is it? Find it. On our Cameo silhouette, we've just got some green vinyl here, and we added on just some simple dots. So you can see on here, I've already taken a couple of them off. So this is just little circles cut out, and just to add some little details onto our frog just to give him some more depth in his colour. Let me see if I can get a couple more of these so you can see what I mean. And all I've done for this is just taken the inspiration from the actual frog design itself. You might not be able to pick it up on screen, but they've got the little different coloured spots there to add the texture to that. So we just added in some of those details, just very simply, nothing really predetermined, just some random circles and ovals onto a coordinating green vinyl, set it away to cut, and we just kind of randomly place them on there as well, just to add a couple of little details on that. And our customer was really happy with this, and as were we. So it's a nice little addition to our Friendly Frog lineup. Brilliant way to coordinate in with the helium filled version. Bouquet at the top, nice sand weight at the bottom with that line coming all the way up from the back, holding the whole bouquet there. Just a nice way to upgrade our bases, which is adding that extra value. So thumbs up if you like him. So let's move. Oh, Mr. Froggy, you'll have to go out the way. Unless we should call you Keith and we're sitting on Keith's chair. Yes. Anyway, speaking of Keith, why don't we head over, because Keith had a chance to catch up with Jag Dillon, who's responsible for the emerging markets for Pioneer Balloon Company. So I'm going to hand you over to those guys and let you catch up with those.
Hi everyone at Q Corner. I'm here in Beirut in the Lebanon for MeBack 2018.
Yes.
I'm here with Jag Dillon.
Hello, everybody.
Introduce yourself to Q Corner, please, buddy.
Yes, hello, everybody. I'm Jag Dillon, a sales executive for Pioneer Balloon Company, and I look after the emerging markets.
Emerging markets. Now, Dom and I have been doing a lot of work in the emerging markets, but please explain what kind is covered by emerging markets for those that don't know.
Sure, Keith. So, I must say, actually, thank you for having me on, by the way. I appreciate this. The emerging markets. I work for Pioneer's Emerging Markets Division, and my emerging markets are the Middle East, Africa, India, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Pakistan, and that's about it, I think.
That's quite a range of areas.
Yeah, it is. It's a vast amount of ground to cover.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting, and it's a lot of areas that you wouldn't necessarily relate with balloons straight away. I've been lucky enough to travel for a few locations, and so has Dom.
Yes.
And we look forward to traveling to many more. But there's been a lot of education recently, hasn't there?
There has. We started sort of our education, if you like, crusade in 2016. And it started in Dubai in May 2016. We've had all the instructors you can think of: Fiona Fisher, Dominic Cassidy, Keith Sturman, Sue Bowler. We've had Alberto Falcone. We've had Dante Longhi, Tina Junta. We're about to have Jackie Chitwa. We've had Federico Onida.
Yeah,
so everyone has been sort of contributing to what we're trying to do, which is educate people about Qualitex balloons. And now they have support. They have me, they have instructors, and they also have a team I manage, Shani Dubb, who looks after my marketing, and Susie Hyatt, who looks after all the customer services orders.
That's really cool. So what do we got to look forward to? Because we're getting kind of towards the end of 2018 now. Have there any plans yet that you can, like, sneak peeks that you can let us know about 2019 perhaps?
Well, we've still got one more to do in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got the Qualitex Balloon School in Dubai, which I believe you opened.
Yeah, I was there for
December
the first one.
2016.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It was a failure, but they've had us back. But they've had us back. We've got Sue Bowler and Jackie Chitwa doing that. It's actually Jackie's debut, so let's see how she goes. You know, we could either hire her or fire her.
Yeah, exactly. You decide.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of people on Q Corner that watch from the emerging markets as well.
Yes.
So you want to have a personal note to your friends?
Yeah, well, to all of you. You're all my friends. I just want to say thank you for your support, the support you give to our distributors. That's, this education in all the countries and where we are right now to where we'll be in November, later in November. it's not possible without you. So, and from our company, Pioneer Balloon Company, thank you very much. But 2019 is exciting as well. You know, we've got a few little ones. You know, you might be involved in something in 2019
maybe.
in March.
Fingers crossed.
It's very hot and sandy.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So let's see.
Where's that?
You know where that is?
Yes.
But we can't say.
Okay. It's up to you. I don't know what we're allowed to say and what we're not allowed to say. So
Keith's going to be with me in March at the Paper World Trade Show with our distributor who's based in the UAE, in Dubai, and looks after the UAE.
Yeah.
And Bahrain, Oman, and Kuwait. And we're going to be there for nearly 12 days.
Wow, it's going to be a long one.
Paper World Trade Show, it's going to be a long one.
Yeah. It's good. We like to do the trade show because we get to showcase the Q products to not necessarily balloon people. You know, people that are absolutely brand new, other businesses that
to mass market as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot harder in the emerging markets because we are either on trend in very sort of small parts of our markets, or we're behind the trend.
Pushing.
So we're pushing.
Yeah, pioneering.
And I've seen a huge change, and so has people like Keith and the guys who've educated with me. We've seen a huge change and shift in people's attitude towards Qualitex balloons and our company, which shows that we're all doing our job.
Yes.
And the distributors, by the way.
Yeah, and we're getting more and more CBAs everywhere you go as well.
We are, yeah. We had the first one in India last year.
Yeah.
We have, I think, 6, 7 in South Africa.
Yeah.
We have in the UAE yet we don't have. That's a new program.
Okay. That's something to think about.
Saudi we have 4, 5.
Yeah.
Here we have lots in Lebanon. We have actually a few. Yeah, we have quite a few here as well. So we're doing good.
Keep on pushing that QBN program, the CBA. If you don't know what that's all about, I'm sure there'll be a link appearing right here, about there. That would be awesome. And go to the link and have a little look at that QBN program. So any final words from our guy from Emerging Markets? Anything else to say, Jag?
Just if anyone wants to know more about what we do, as in emerging markets, please, just get in touch with us on the Qualitex Facebook page for the Middle East, for Africa, and for India and Israel. So don't be shy. Send us a message, and we can talk you through if you need to find distributors or are interested in being a distributor.
Okay, well, thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks,
man.
See you all next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Hi! Thank you very much. I'm guessing it's either Mike or Sarah. Thank you. No microphone. You couldn't hear me. So as I was saying, unless you're very good at lip reading, I was saying, hi! Thank you very much to Jag and Keith there from Lebanon. Yes, it was quiet. It was my fault. The microphone was off. This is why there's 2 of us normally, not 1. If you want to catch up on the pictures, the live feed, all the cool stuff coming from the Maybach event, check out the Qualitex Middle East Facebook page. Like that page, loads of cool videos and stuff going on as well, so that's really cool to catch up on the news there. Plus there's some other Facebook pages. If you're stuck, don't know where to find them, we'll drop the link in the description once this video has been process afterwards. Been doing a bit of fun personalisation in the Q Corner office this week as well. We had a couple of designs that were a little bit different that we need to do for customers, so we're having a bit of a play around. The new Q3 product is great, and a lot of it is really personalisation friendly. I mean, this potted cactus just screamed to have a face put on it. It was just kind of one of the first things that we thought of, said, you know what, we need a face on this one. One of the other ones that we did, which we particularly liked, was this one here. If you can see it, the rainbow heart there with all the pride colours on. We've got this on a 6 balloon base, just because we wanted to include all of the colours. We could have cheated and gone for 4, but then we would have missed 2, so it's hard to pick. So we went for a 5 balloon base, and we thought, oh, we can't leave that 6 one out. So it takes a little bit more dedication to make sure that they sit neatly. So make sure we tie those balloons neatly, nice and tightly, get the balloons sized very well, and they will sit 2 layers, no problem at all, as a 6 balloon cluster. It just adds that really nice roundness to the base, but also gets all those colours in there as well. So that was just a really enjoyable miniature base there for some table centres. And we've got our personalisation going on there. And we've got that, just in case you can't read, equality, love and pride. So a nice, really good use of our Cameo silhouette there. So that was a perfect one to do. But one of the ones that we've been asked a lot about is things like this one here. Yes, thank you. Yes, you can hear me now. I appreciate that. I'm feeling the love. Is how to do things like the eyes, and also how to get the size right. This is one of the things that we initially we started a bit of trial and error, trying to we cut them and guessing a bit, but if you really want to get exact with the scaling, we can actually use the imagery from the Qualitix website and scale the images accordingly within the software itself. So if you haven't done that, I'm going to share that really quickly because I don't have a lot of time, but if I just jump over to, let me give you this, and do this, you should be able to see my Cameo screen. So this is the Silhouette Studio software. It is the one that you can download for the Cameo silhouette. There are other cutters out there, all very good, all do a very similar job. This is our cutter of choice. The software with it is very intuitive, and it seems to be the one that the industry's adopted, so it's easy to share files and the like across with different people doing different designs. So this one here, we can actually go onto our Qualitix website. So let me just show you where I got that from. We go into our Qualitix, and you can go into products, and you can do the particular search on each of them, or you can just go into products and search. So I just search for Cactus. You can search on the product code, or just a bit of fuzzy text, so Cactus or potted, it's going to find it. Really good search on there. I've gone into the product, and you can see here we've got a little download link there, so we can download that particular image. Really great quality, high res image there, freely available to download and use. If you are a QBM member, you can actually go into the related inspiration, and we can look at some of the other little designs here. So we've got other ones to look at, and when we go into these, let me just select one of these, dive over to there. I'm logged in here, so we're actually logged in to the site as a QBM member, and that gives us this extra download link. That's the download full-size image. So one of the absolute brilliant benefits of being a QBM member, which is the Qualitix Balloon Network, and all you have to do for that is buy your DVD pack, pass your first DVD, the first questions on there, get that done, and you'll be added into the QBM network, and then you get access to this. So if only for that, that's great, because you can download those, you can use them in your portfolio, use them in your business to start selling designs like this without even having to spend the time to get those images. So this is a great resource. But what we've done is we've taken that Cactus, the potted cactus design, we've downloaded it. I'm going to switch back over to the Cameo software now, and I'm going to go into and open that image. So file, open, and then you can see that it's in my downloads. Select that image and bring it in. There's other ways you can do this. You can drag and drop it, but that brings the image in. We're not going to be cutting this image out. We're not going to be doing anything with it that way. All we're going to be doing it is using it as reference for creating the images that we want to create. So on here, if you can see, we've got really good reference points on here. So we could look at the design and try to resize it, but that's pretty tricky. So what we do is we take a point of reference on the design. So a good reference on this one is we've got these two little spikes here, so that's an easy one to find, the second one down, and we've got a good reference between the stripes. So what we can do, take, sliding on the floor, take this design, and if we look at the design, we've got 1, 2, hold it so we can see it's a 1, 2, and the distance between the stripes I can actually measure. So I can take a tape measure, measure across underneath that spike, make sure we pay attention to which part of the stripe we're measuring to, whether it's the inside or the outside, and I can measure that one. So going from the outside of that one to the outside of that one is 13 centimetres. So we're in the UK, we kind of flip between centimetres and inches. The Cameo software itself, the Silhouette Studio software, is changeable. You can do it in inches, millimetres, centimetres, whatever your preferred measurement tool is. We're very much more familiar with doing centimetres, so that's what we run with. So our screen is going to show everything in centimetres. So we know it needs to be 13 centimetres. So I go over to my tool over here, which is the drawing tools. I'm just going to pick a rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. I don't mind how deep it is, I just want to know how wide it is. And I said it was 13 centimetres, so I'm just looking at the scale at the bottom. It's going to tell me how wide that is. Let me get that as close as 13 centimetres as I can. 12.93 is, you know, it's not even half a millimetre. There we go. 12.973. It's close enough. We're not looking for absolute accuracy. We're just looking for somewhere close. I now know that the distance between the two ends of that rectangular box is the right dimension for the reference that I've measured on this particular balloon. So now I can scale my balloon. So if you look at this section here in the middle now, and you can see underneath that second one down, the distance I'm looking for is the outside edge of this stripe here to the outside edge here of this one. So you can see that mine is not big enough. If you need to, we can just zoom our work area out, so it makes it a little bit easier. When you rescale it, you do need to move it about a little bit sometimes because it won't always stay where you need it to, but it doesn't take long just to move it about. Now what we've done with the selection of images that we use a lot, so I'm talking about things like that baby bottle. Love the baby bottle. It is perfect for personalization. So we have that one saved, ready to go at the right scale, so we don't have to keep doing it every time. So I'm going to just do mine a little bit smaller because it's not quite touching. So let me just line that up. Still a little bit too big. When you're doing it for yourself to save into your file as a scaled, spend a little bit more time than I am, so you get it as close as possible, because then you've got that golden sample, if you like, that one that's absolutely perfect. So I'll say I've gone too big, too small. I was watching the wrong line. Where are you at? There we go. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about being too perfect, but you get the idea. So now this cactus image is the right scale to work with, so it's relative to the work here. So I'm just going to move that out of the way, my measuring tool. So anything that I produce, I still need to make sure it's in my work area. If you haven't used or seen anything to do with the Cameo Silhouette and the Silhouette Studio software before, check out some of our other videos on the Q Corner channel. We've got some really good step-by-steps there for you to follow along with and work out how it works for you in your business. But it is a fantastic tool that coordinates with all the Quadratex foils. But this one I want to share because it was just perfect to do. We've been waiting a while to do it because we didn't have the time, but we did have a customer that really wanted this one, and we said, how about we upgrade it to a character, you know, and really add some animation to it as well. So we thought, yes, perfect excuse, let's do it. Two major ways of doing this. One, we can use Google. We can do image search and look for something that works for us. As long as it's copyright free, we can do bring it in, and we can trace that image, so we can kind of copy over it if you like and create the lines to cut round that we need. If you don't know about tracing, again, check out one of the videos on the channel about that. Really easy to follow along, and it helps you unlock the power of the Silhouette Studio software. For this one though, we wanted a particular look of the eyes, and it's actually quite easy to generate those yourself. So I want to hold my cactus in place, and I kind of want to bring some eyes into the middle here. So I'm going to go onto my drawing tools again. I'm going to go along to my oval and create an oval for an eye that I feel is the right scale. So I've got the oval on there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to take my cactus and just move it out the way now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see. So now we have this oval. That's going to be one of the eyes. I'm going to take it and I can copy it. So we'll do Control C or Command and C, copy and paste. So we now have 2. So we can make 2 the same size, or this one's going to be kind of our wacky cactus. So I'm going to just change the size of that a little bit smaller and actually just put a bit of a tilt on there. Actually this one as well, I'm just going to rotate round as well. And you can see they're just overlapping a little bit there. I'm going to take this one on the left hand side here and I'm going to use the offset tool. Pretty cool tool to use. So on our tools at the side, I'm just going to hit offset and I can do it outside or inside. So I'm going to do inside, which is internal offset. And I'm just going to change that to be a little bit bigger than the default. I'm going to go 0.3 centimeters on there. So it's just created an exact replica, but 0.3 centimeters inside of that original oval. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm now going to select that outside oval and the other oval as well. So I'm going to select those 2 objects. So you can see I've got those 2 objects. I'm going to put them back to the right position. I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to use this tool which is called Weld. Really good tool. I use it a lot. Press Weld and it's now joined these 2 outside pieces together. I'm just going to undo that so it stays in the right position. Now on the inside of this one, I'm going to select that one and the other one. Right click and we're going to join them together. So make a compound path. And that kind of glues everything together. It kind of sits it together so it becomes one object. And because it's one object, and I'm going to select this and I'm going to create again an internal offset, and the bit that it can see is over here. This is currently default again to that 0.2, so I'm going to change that to 0.3 so it gives me the same internal offset that I did previously. So it doesn't matter what size you do, but it is nice to make them the same size, so it gives you that same gap that goes all the way around the outside. And there we go, we have this nice band there for the 2 eyes. Again, I'm going to join all those together. So highlight everything, right click and make compound path. That's kind of glued those 2 pieces together. With those, I want to add some little bits on the inside for the pupils of the eye. So again, trusty oval tool. Let me create one here. Happy with that. And then a little piece in the middle there for a bit of highlight. Arrow tool. Select those 2 objects. I'm going to copy them and I'm going to paste them, because I can use the same ones over here. Again, you can spend more time, tweak it about, but that gives us the bit that I want there. Okay, so I'll just move that up. I'm happy with that. Now, I also need to copy that and paste it, so I've got a second copy because I need to use this background as well. I'll show you what that's for very shortly. So this one here, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to right click and I'm going to make compound path. If you want to make it easier whilst you're working, you can actually colour things in to make it easier for you to visualise. Just go to the toolbox at the side, fill panel, and we can select black and it fills it in. So you can see really nicely it fills in the outside lines. Now the inside of this object is transparent, so if we zoom out a little bit so you can see what I mean, so it looks good here because it's got the white background, but if I move this over, let me bring in the cactus, great, so we'd have a really nice black defined outline for the eyes, but it doesn't have any fill, so we're going to see green eyes, which doesn't really sell it so much. We want the white to give a really good contrast and to really make them pop on there. So let's move that out of the way. To make a white infill part for this one, let me zoom back in. That's why I've created this second copy here. I'm going to hold on to that, right click, I'm going to release compound path. That's going to separate all those parts that we glued together. I'm going to take out that inside piece, gone, and that other inside piece, and then we have this outside piece here. So we can make a separate panel that's going to be white. Now if you made those as stickers to line up, they'll be very tricky to line up. They'll be so exactly the same size. Trying to line them up is possible, but it takes a bit of time. So what we do is we select it, go to that offset tool again, and then we just bring an internal offset and just bring it in a little bit. We don't want to go quite so much as that. We just make it very slim, so it just brings it in just from the edge apply, and then I can bring out that other piece. Get rid of that one, and this is going to be our white section now. I'm going to do two things now. One, I'm going to go to my line tool, and I'm going to change the line colour to a different colour. It doesn't matter what colour it is. Any colour you like. I've selected blue just so it's different to the red line colour that is currently on the black section of the eyes. This one now, if I wish, so I can see it, go to my infill, and we're going to colour it white. Now you can see, if you line those up, how it very nicely is just in from the outside, but on the other side it's also not going too far in, so it'll be seen on the inside of the eye there. But also it is blocking the view a little bit, so if I do two things here, I'm going to highlight those two objects, and I'm going to do my alignment tool, which is this one over here at the right hand side, and I'm just going to do center, and it'll just center them back over each other perfectly, makes it easier. But I'm going to right click on that white panel, and I'm going to send it to the back so I can see the whole thing. Just makes it a lot easier to work with. Just so things don't move on me, highlight everything, right click and group. Everything's still separate if I need it, but for the moment it moves together to make it easier for me to work. Now when I drag that in, you can see you get this really cool design. Okay, so one last thing before we send that to cut, I'm going to sit that on my work area. When we try to line them up afterwards, we need to make something to allow the two pieces to line up afterwards as a sticker. Doing it manually is possible, but is really tricky. You tend to find that it takes a lot of time, especially the more complicated the shape is. So we do what's called a reference, a registration mark, sorry. I'll zoom in, I'm going to show you how we make those. I'm just going to make a little band there, and I'm going to go back to my arrow tool and just adjust the shape. Tend to do curves where we can, just because the machine cuts a curve much nicer than a corner edge, so when we're weeding it makes it much easier to weed. I'm going to go to my modify replicate panel. I'm going to do this one here, rotate with a copy, press that, gives us two, highlight the two of them, right click and weld. So that gives us a really simple registration mark. Now I need to change the colour because it needs to be separate to the two different colours that we've got going on. So I'm going to pick a green. Actually I'm going to pick a purple because that might be more visible on the screen. So we have that ready. Take that, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it. So we've got one here and one here. Now these will be fixed in position with this design. So all that means is when we go to send this to our machine, we go to our send screen. Now traditionally on here it's going to show up as this screen, and it's going to show red glow around everything saying, hey, I'm going to cut this out. Great. But we don't want to cut everything out because I want to do the black first, then the white. And also as we cut the black I want to cut registration marks, and as I cut the white I want to cut registration marks. So to do that we go on to our action at the top. I'm going to change that to line. Gives me the colour options now. So my first pass with the black vinyl loaded into the machine, I'm going to turn off the blue. So it's only going to cut the red lines here, which is the outline of the eyes plus the internal bits, but also I've left that purple on, so it's going to cut the registration marks. Once we've done that, great, take it out of the machine, load the white in. Then we turn off the red and we turn on the blue. So now we have that outline of white. So that gives us the two pieces cut, but they have the registration marks on. So we actually have that pre-cut, so I can quickly show you how that's done. Let me go back to here. Hi, I'm back. And then, let me bring this in. So this is a one that's pre-cut. What did I do with my scissors? I did have them, but I put them down. So this one here, we've got the eyes, we've also got a mouth on this as well, but I'm going to just weed away the excess material. So I'm just going to fold that back, and it will reveal the bulk of the outline of the two parts of the design. Again, using the weeding tool, we can pull out the inside parts that we don't need. That one and that one. We'll leave the mouth because that was just an extra. We don't need that one. Let's just move that out of the way. So you can see we have the eyes. Slightly different to the one I've just done because they were created fresh. These are the ones that we did earlier. We just made a little bit of an extra shape there, kind of a distorted triangle to get the eyebrows on there to give us some expression. Now the top bit is done with the black. Now the bottom bit is with the white. So that was cut out separately. But in the same selection process, we turned off the outline, turned on the background, and then kept the registration marks on. So we've got this big block of white, but we've got these registration marks fixed in position. So again, I'm just going to remove that mouthpiece. So what we need to do is join, and both of them there, the black on top of the white. Okay, so we need to pick up the black first to put it on top of the white. So using our application tape, so this is the low tack adhesive semi-transparent application tape, our preferred application tape. I'm going to place that over the design, pick it up, turn it over, and just peel away that paper really carefully. Make sure you're leaving the registration marks and all the design in position, and then just make sure that white one stays flat to the table. The bits that we're looking for are the registration marks, so it's a bit hard to do it so you can see it on camera. Just roll that forward. I'm going to line up the registration marks. We're not looking at the design, we're only looking at the registration marks through the application tape. Let me just bring that forward so you can see. I've lined that through onto the crosses, so now when we bring the design down, it should line up perfectly. So I'm going to carefully peel back the application tape so you can see. I didn't have to spend any time there looking at the edges of the white, if it was showing through, or if it was kind of off to one side or anything like that. You just look at the crosses. Crosses are very easy to visualize and work out as a target to try and get them lined up. Because we gave ourselves a bit of a tolerance on the eyes, it was very easy to get those. You can see that on there. So that gives us a really cool big sticker. We just get rid of the registration marks because we don't want them to stick onto our design. Two ways we can do this. We can lift it off with some application tape and put it onto our design, or what works really good with these, because these are just one super big sticker now, they actually peel off as one. So we get our potted cactus hiding down the back again. Place it in position, and just stick them on. There we go. New set of eyes on there. Really quick, really simple, and obviously you save them so you've got them for future, but because it's your eyes, you can adjust them, change the shape, do whatever you want with them. It's so versatile. So don't just be stuck looking for images. Look at the tools that are inbuilt into the Silhouette software, because you can do so much with that as well. So that is really, really cool way of adding some character styles to your designs. One of the other things we would have covered today was catching up with Sue. So we've got some cool news from Sue. Pretty excited about this because this is going to be a really new and good addition to Q Corner, but I shall let Sue explain.
So I've been talking to the boys at Q Corner, and something that's been cropping up recently is people looking for help before they do their CBA exam. And something that I did earlier this year at the World Balloon Convention was I actually ran a course the day before the test, which really helped people to prepare. But we thought it would be so much better if we could do that for everybody worldwide. So the deal is that with the boys, I'm going to make a Q Corner special, a CBA Q Corner special, where we will actually run through the process for the CBA exam. So that will start with talking about how to prepare your photographs, all the different things that you're going to be judged on for your photographs, and then what we'll do is we'll take you through the whole process of the actual exam. So we'll start from looking at the pieces that you have to make, the designs that you have to make, so looking at all the different elements that you have to produce. We'll talk about how those designs are judged, so how many points that you get for each element on those designs. Then we'll take you through the techniques that you need to know for the compulsory pieces, where we will supply the product for you. We'll look at the knots that you have to do. So it's a really comprehensive revision course. And as part of the program, I'm actually going to give you some test questions that you can go away afterwards and you can actually do some revision on. So it'll be things that you might be tested on your panel. So it could be a question on colour, understanding different colour harmonies, for example, or it might be a question on rhythm or any different things. So here's one for you whilst you're watching this. What colour harmony is this puffed heart? Do you know it? If you do, write it in the comments section. But seriously, we really will. I'll give you as many tools as I can. Working with Keith and Dom, they'll sort of ask me some questions, and we'll ask in advance what sort of things you want to know as well. And we'll come together. We're going to do it in the next few weeks, and then hopefully we'll have a really great revision program for you. So I hope that's a good idea, and I'll look forward to seeing you then.
Thanks, Pioneer Calendar. Thank you, Sue, is what I was saying. And the fact that she's fabulously colour coordinated as ever, her top as well as the puffed heart in the background. Just saying also, the bit of research you can do in the meantime before we bring that segment to Q Corner is you can check out the Qualitex website, which is qualitex.com, and there is a tab at the top which is education. On there you've got things like the Qualitex Balloon Network to check out, certified balloon artists, and lots of other information and tidbits as well. Additionally, you can go to the Very Best Balloon blog. On there, Sue has wrote a really good beginner's guide for the QBN. Some really good information and a bit of her journey on there as well. So check that out. It's you can subscribe to it, read through loads of really good links on there as well. But that education one on the Qualitex page has got a lot of the information which will get you started on that journey. So if you don't know anything about the CBA, the Certified Balloon Artists Program, or the Qualitex Balloon Network, read up on that and you'll find how it will bring value to your business. So other than that, I want to thank you guys for putting up with me on my own this week, and we should be back to normal play on the next episode with both of us in the Q Corner office. So that's the plan for next time, with some new tips and some more information to share. So until the next time, thank you very much.